And thank you to everyone who subscribe and follow the Shon of All Trades channel. In this video, I intend to show you how you can bake the Iranian traditional bread named Barbari at home. Barbari is a traditional Iranian bread that is usually baked in an oval shape. It uses a good measure of whole grain wheat, making it beneficial for digestion and very delicious. Historically, Barbari was baked in the suburban ovens heated by the burning dried bushes. However, the bakers in Iran uses the gas-heated ovens. The origin of this bread said to be traced back to the Barbaristan or Hijabistan, a region now located in East Afghanistan. Some Barbari migrants brought this recipe to Iran around the 18th century. Initially, the original Barbari was made with the millet bowl, but Iranians adapted the recipe to suit their taste, and now it's one of the most popular bread throughout the country. Barbari has a soft texture, especially at the corners, while the top is the crunchy. It's often served with the many beloved Iranian dishes, such as kebab, Mirza Qasemi. I plan to share the video of the recipe of these two favorite meals on my channel as well. Additionally, a traditional Iranian bakers commonly includes Barbari. My childhood memory revolved around the breakfast table filled with the Barbari bread, accompanied by the feta cheese, walnuts, and sweetened tea. If you are an Iranian migrant who is homesick for this delicious bread, someone who has never tried Barbari but enjoyed exploring exotic foods, or if you simply love baking and want to fill your home with the delightful aroma of freshly baked bread, I encourage you to try this recipe. Here I have the outline and the necessary steps for making good Barbari bread, just like the traditional bakers in Iran. So let's begin.
The ingredients I will share are for baking 5 pieces of bread, sized like those shown in the video. If this is your first time making bread and you want to test the recipe, you may reduce the ingredients to bake fewer loaves. Personally, I often double the recipe to make 10 loaves. I usually keep the extra bread in the freezer. This way, whenever I want to eat some, I can simply take a piece and warm it up in the toaster or microwave. The bread is of such high quality that you can store it in freezer bags for weeks. When you heat it for about 30 seconds, it becomes hot, smooth, and somewhat crispy, just as if you had baked it fresh. You won't need to throw any of it away, and nothing will go to waste. Ingredients: 1 kilogram of simple white wheat flour, not self-rising. 200 grams of whole grain wheat flour plus an additional 50 grams for the topping paste. 2 tablespoons of salt. 1 tablespoon of sugar. 10 grams of yeast. Water, as needed, the amount will vary depending on the quality and density of the flour used. Sesame seeds, poppy seeds, and black seeds, use as much as you like. You can also substitute with your favorite dried seasonings for the topping. Instructions: start by warming some water. Add the sugar to the water and then stir in the yeast. Allow it to sit for a few minutes to ensure the yeast activates properly. In a mixing bowl or using a mixer, combine the following ingredients: 1 kilogram of white flour, 200 grams of whole grain flour, salt, and the water mixture containing sugar and yeast. If you are using a mixer, let it do the work of mixing the ingredients until well combined. If you do not have a mixer, transfer the ingredients to a clean kitchen surface and knead them by hand. Continue kneading until you achieve a smooth, non-sticky dough. Be cautious when adding water, add it slowly. If you add too little, the dough will be stiff. If too much water is added, the dough may become sticky. Now you should put the dough in a bowl, cover it with a kitchen towel and put it in a warm place to rise. My neighbors seem to know that I'm baking, and it feels like they've come over hoping for a share. However, the bread I'm making is of such high quality that I doubt there will be any leftovers. As a result, I have no choice but to give them my leftover rice instead. 1 hour later. After 1 hour, we transfer the dough to a tray that we have covered with flour and divided into 5 equal pieces. Each piece should be shaped into a ball, and we will cover them with a towel again. These pieces need to rest for another hour to rise completely. Meanwhile, we can prepare our topping paste. We need to mix the extra 50 grams of whole wheat flour with some water. Be careful to add the water slowly to achieve a paste that is neither too runny nor too thick, as demonstrated in the video. We will set this paste aside for later use on the topping. 1 more hour later. The dough balls have fully risen. To prepare for baking, I need my oven tray, so I cover my table with flour and place the dough balls on it. I also cover them with a kitchen towel to prevent them from drying out. Now, it's time to preheat the oven. Place the tray inside and set the oven to its highest temperature, which is 250 degrees Celsius for my oven. Since my oven is electric, I want the heat to come from both the top and the bottom. Also, there's no need to cover the tray with baking paper or spray it with oil, as the tray will become very hot and will ensure that your bread does not stick to it. We wait until the oven is hot and reaches 250 degrees. Once it does, we can shape the dough into bread and place it in the oven. On your kitchen table or any clean surface, sprinkle some flour. Take a dough ball and press it slightly to form a bowl shape. Next, pour 1 or 2 spoons of the topping paste we prepared earlier into the center. Then, flatten the dough. Pay attention to my hand movements as I flatten the dough without applying too much pressure. The thickness of the dough is important. If you've ever made pizza dough, you know that achieving a delicious pizza with a good crust requires handling the dough delicately. The same principle applies here. Avoid pressing or stretching the dough forcefully, as that may cause it to tear. Instead, use a smooth and even pressure with your fingertips to flatten the dough. It may not be easy at first, but with practice, you'll be able to do it perfectly. Barbari bread is traditionally shaped like an oval, but you can create it in any shape you prefer. After flattening the dough, you can sprinkle on any seeds or dried herbs, such as dill or parsley. I typically use sesame seeds, poppy seeds, and black seeds. Once your oven is fully preheated, take your dough, stretch it a bit, and place it flat on the oven tray. This can be challenging, but it's how traditional bakers do it. If you find it too difficult, you can pull the tray slightly out, place the dough on it, and then push the tray back in. With practice, you'll become skilled at this technique. However, for your first attempt, it's a good idea to have a bowl of ice nearby because there's a high chance you might burn your hand. The baking time for Barbari bread depends on the power of your oven, the temperature, and the amount of water used in your dough. Generally, it takes between 8 to 10 minutes to bake. After using this recipe and the same brands of ingredients numerous times, I've found that it typically takes about 8 minutes and 30 seconds to bake each loaf of the bread. However, it's essential to monitor it closely. When the bread turns golden or light brown, it's time to take it out of the oven. The first loaf of bread is now ready, and my kitchen is filled with the pleasant aroma of freshly baked bread that is hard to describe. Remember to brush the bottom of the bread with a clean brush, as it may have excess flour on it, which can affect the taste. You can enjoy the bread while it's still hot, or if you prefer, you can cut it into pieces and, once it has cooled, place it in a freezer bag and store it in the freezer. When you're ready to eat some of the frozen bread, simply take a piece out and heat it in the toaster or microwave oven. I guarantee it will come out hot, with a smooth texture and a nice crunch, as if it were just freshly baked.
If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. If you have any question, feel free to ask me here or via email. If you succeed in baking your own Barbari bread, I would love it if you could share a picture with me and others. Take care and enjoy healthy meals. Farewell.